Tonight, many people are mourning the loss of a legend. Bruton Smith died earlier today at the age of 95. And people are looking back on his extraordinary life that started on a farm in Oakboro, North Carolina. Our Glenn Counts live tonight. And Glenn, you spoke to some of the people at Charlotte Motor Speedway who knew him best.
Well, yeah, Erica, there are a lot of heavy hearts around Charlotte Motor Speedway tonight. You know, Bruton Smith had a personal connection to many of the folks who walked through these doors. There is a long list of words you could use to describe Bruton Smith, but two rise to the top.
You know, the terms legendary and giant are probably overused in the worlds of sports, but he fit the bill on both counts.
Dave Moody is the lead announcer for MRN. He is mourning Smith's passing. He calls him a genius.
He was the most amazing person I've ever known in terms of doing things that nobody thought could be done. You know, lighting a 1.5 mile racetrack. It had never been done before he did it here. People thought he was nuts, and he did it anyway.
Charlotte Motor Speedway is a shrine to Smith. This was his baby.
Well, do you think about the fact that you had a guy who was 33 years old from Oakboro, North Carolina, the youngest of 9 kids, and to build a place like this, a place that has hosted millions of people from around the world here in North Carolina?
Greg Walter is the general manager. He worked side by side with Smith for years, so this loss is personal.
He had a heart for people. He was always energized by crowds and the smiles of the fans. He was a practical joker. He would tease, he would have fun, but he would talk to anybody.
Walter says that Smith always put the fans first and always strived to give them an experience second to none.
Last year I did 17 races.
We caught up with Tom Alton at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. He calls himself not just a fan, but a fanatic.
He'll never be forgotten in this business and from the fans. He's kind of like Earnhardt. When we lost Earnhardt, Earnhardt was our legacy as a driver. And Richard Petty, the king, of course, is also a legacy that's still with us, fortunately. Bruton will be the legendary and legacy of tracks for the fans. He was all about the fans.
Would never be too busy to talk to any of us or any fan. And that humility, even in spite of all of his success, is what made him so special.
Well, Walter believes that Smith has left NASCAR in good hands. He believes that his children are more than capable of taking the sport to the next level. Back to you.
Glenn, thank you. He will be missed. Now, memorial messages are pouring in from the biggest names in NASCAR. Rick Hendrick, owner of Hendrick Motorsports, said, quote, "He was someone you wanted on your side because he was tough as nails and never backed down from a fight. Although most knew him as a savvy and successful businessman, I will remember Bruton first and foremost as a father, a family man, and a dear friend." Dale Earnhardt Jr. tweeted today that Bruton Smith's contribution to stock car racing is hard to measure, and his vision created growth and opportunities for Earnhardt. Scott Fowler, with our partners at the Charlotte Observer, has covered Bruton Smith for decades, and tonight he shared a story from Smith's youth that led to his strength in the rest of his life.
One thing Bruton Smith was a dreamer. When he was 12 years old, he wanted to be middleweight champion of the world. That didn't work out either. But what he did learn how to do was punch. And he told me at one time, he said, you know, I never became middleweight champion of the world, but I learned to punch really hard. And I got to where I could knock a door down. And what Bruton Smith really could do throughout his life was knock down a lot of doors.
He sure could. Now, Fowler also explained that Smith liked drama and shared what Smith said about wanting more drama out of one of the nicest NASCAR drivers, Jimmy Johnson.
He said, shoot, he can hit me if he wants to. I don't care. I just want him to hit somebody.
Well, speaking of Johnson, he posted this photo today saying one of his favorite memories with Bruton Smith is gifting him Johnson's final Martinsville clock. He says he'll never forget the smile on Smith's face. Now, I also spoke to Smith's good friend, Richard Childress, who reflected on their first interaction.
I was down at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We were running an old Grand American car, and this was in '69, I think it was. And had a bad windshield in it, and Bruton gave me enough money to go get a windshield for the car.
Now, we also heard so much from people today talking about how much Bruton Smith did for our community, especially through his Speedway Children's Charities organization. We've posted so much more about Bruton Smith online, and you can also look through our gallery of Smith photos through the years, all of that on our free WSOC News app.